Hey YouTube, how's it going? Errol the Comic Chief here, and today I am super excited to review the Man of Steel issue number 4. This is issue number 4 of a 6-part miniseries, and let me tell you this, Brian Bendis has done such a great job thus far. So this issue's cover art was done by Reese, Prado, and Sinclair, as always, and it features Clark/Superman kissing the love of his life, Lois Lane, and he is taking off his glasses and dressed in both the Clark Kent clothes and his Clark clothes. So the interior art, it was drawn by Kevin Maguire and Jay Fabic again, and the characters include Superman, Green Lantern, Jimmy Olsen, Lois Lane, Captain Maggie Sawyer, Perry White, Robinson Goode, John Kent, Supergirl, and Rogol Zaar. Okay, so the first 3 issues opened up with planets in sight and Krypton exploding and Krypton and Earth, and now we have what resembles a planet, which is actually just Clark's iris imbued with fire and centered on Rogol Zaar. What a great way to depict rage. Superman is very much enraged due to the death of the city of Kandor and the trap set forward by Rogol Zaar. So we open this issue with Superman and Supergirl battling Rogol in the heart of Metropolis. The casualties and damage caused by the wake of their battle is seen throughout the issue. At this point, Superman doesn't even know his name. While the art does a great job at depicting his emotions, his self-dialogue and inner monologue narration makes it clear that he's fighting an enemy whose name he doesn't know or why he's doing what he's doing. So while Supergirl is fighting blindly with fierce anger, Superman thinks back to his fellow Justice League members. Or his Justice League member Cyborg, and advice telling him they has to be calm, think clearly, not allow emotion to cloud his judgment and when he's fighting. So throughout the battle, we see citizens of Metropolis, to include Perry White and the new character Robinson Goode. So she's sitting at her desk, and somehow she gets caught up in the battle and thrown off her high skyrise office. Crashing through the window, we think she's gonna fall, but of course Superman saves her mid-fall and immediately returns her back to her office. As Superman continues to battle Rogol Zaar, he realizes that Rogol's source of power is coming from his staff. There's a nice line in the issue, which happens to be my favorite writing in this issue. "Okay, let's play Batman." Again, recognizing that Batman is the world's greatest detective. Here he realizes that his powers are similar to his own, but uses that to his advantage because he has lived on Earth his whole life, and Rogol cannot control his superpowers as well. So Superman gets hit with a blast, and we get flashback voiceovers from Lois and John. "Clark? Dad, what is that?" And the panel shows that Superman's head isn't completely in the game because he is hit with Rogol's beam full blast and is slammed into cars. So there's a nice little Easter egg panel. The license plate of one of the cars says Bendis. Yeah, the battle's pretty great. Rogol is trying to play mind games with Superman and Supergirl. For example, he takes himself out of the equation to study the Kryptonians' actions and how they react. So as Clark and Supergirl are scanning around looking for Rogol, we continue to hear more Lois and John voiceovers. We get a little bit more each time too. "Get behind me, Lois." "Clark, are you okay?" "Clark, he's..." At this point in the issue, the suspense is killing me and I'm getting a little bit annoyed. Bendis managed to weave the flashback story into 4 issues, and it was only 2 pages worth of flashback. So yeah, if that. We get back, Rogol attacks Superman from behind on the battle, and we can see that his power is untapped and superior to Superman's. We see him blast Superman, and we get thrown back into another flashback scene. And it's Fabic's pages that we've been seeing. So finally, onto the next page, we get the big reveal. It's a one-eyed Jor-El coming from a spacecraft telling Clark and Lois that he was there for John Kent, and he was there to take John Kent. Before he can explain why, we time jump back to present-day Metropolis. This time, a few seconds after Rogol's beatdown of Superman and Supergirl, we get to see Hal Jordan, Green Lantern, interrogating witnesses to find out what exactly occurred. We also see Captain Maggie Sawyer, the Metropolis Special Crimes Unit captain, and she interrupted Green Lantern's questioning of the witnesses. She tells us that Rogol Zaar referred to the fight as a cleansing. Green Lantern begins asking Superman about the encounter. Superman's still groggy from the fight, and the art does a great job at showing us that. So we get several panels intertwined with the scene between Superman and Green Lantern. Rogol-Zar shows his true power and nature and tells Superman he is Rogol-Zar and that Superman's bloodline must end once and for all. He also takes credit for the destruction of Krypton. Yeah, so the last few panels are fantastic. We see Rogol-Zar's face with the red and blue eyes, and then the next panel is just the red and blue eyes in darkness. And then the last panel is just darkness. So yeah, that's pretty great. The aftermath of the battle shows that the citizens of Metropolis are angry and confused, with some citizens blaming Superman for this destruction. Superman tells Green Lantern that he has no idea what Rogol is truly capable of, and Supergirl is angry and enraged for the destruction of Kandor, and Green Lantern tells Superman that he needs to get a headcount of every Kryptonian they know from any Earth in any reality. Finally, he asks Superman where John Kent was, but he doesn't answer. We cut to the final pages of the issue with Superman flying back to the Fortress of Solitude. Rogol-Zar was there waiting for him. Superman was trying to use the fortress to call someone, which I assume is Jor-El, and the two converse, and it ends with Rogol-Zar asking Superman if he had any children. It shows Superman's rage building up and a red aura glowing around his eyes, with his eyes burning red and with anger. The final page of the issue shows a giant blast that destroyed what was left of the Fortress of Solitude. It was a giant ball of fire, resembling the first panel in the book. So stay tuned for the next issue to find out what happens in The Man of Steel number 5. The art, for some reason, I didn't like it, the way that it was drawn. Superman was drawn in this one. However, the fight scenes were pretty epic. So yes, it was great. The plot was fantastic. It progressed the story arc much further. That was a win. The writing was great, although I have to admit I had to reread parts of this book because I was confused after Superman blacked out from this fight. So I don't know. The character development was great. The price tag was it worth the price? Of course. So I'm gonna rate this one a 4 out of 5 stars. Let me know if you agree, YouTube. That's all I got. This is the Comic Chief going offline.